Never in history has a modern military, Iran had a modern military, a modern Navy, a modern Air Force, modern air defenses, leadership, massive bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated. We have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one.
Never in history has a modern military, a modern Navy, a modern Air Force, modern air defenses, and massive underground bunkers been so rapidly and historically obliterated. Those were the chilling words echoing through the halls of the Pentagon. We have a commander-in-chief who, when he sends his warfighters out into the darkness, unties their hands. The directive is no longer about containment. The order is to close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. It is March 2026. The world's geopolitical tectonic plates are fracturing, and the epicenter of this earthquake is a 21-mile-wide stretch of water known as the Strait of Hormuz. For decades, this critical energy corridor has been the jugular vein of the global economy. But today, it has entered a terrifying new phase of warfare. In a desperate and calculated move, Iran has executed a large-scale naval mine-laying operation. They haven't just dropped a few hazards, they have seeded the seabed with an estimated 6,000 naval mines, creating a massive invisible blockade beneath the waves. These are not passive threats. These are apex predators of the deep. They do not need radar, they do not need fuel, they simply wait in the dark, posing an immediate, catastrophic danger to both military warships and multi-million-dollar commercial oil tankers. A single misstep, a single magnetic anomaly from a passing hull, and it leads to total, fiery destruction. An undeclared, silent conflict has begun beneath the water. But the United States Navy does not negotiate with blockades. In response to this existential threat to global navigation, the Pentagon rapidly deploys a massive mine countermeasures task force into the region. Picture the scene: American warships advancing in tightly coordinated formations, cutting through the murky waters of the Persian Gulf. Their mission is singular and non-negotiable: re-establish control, secure the critical shipping lanes, and reopen the strait at all costs. This is not just a routine patrol. This marks the beginning of one of the largest and most dangerous mine clearance operations in modern naval history. Every single unit in this armada is assigned a highly specific surgical role. The operation immediately shifts into the critical detection phase. From the decks of the forward-deployed vessels, the robotic vanguard is unleashed. State-of-the-art underwater autonomous vehicles, or UUVs, are slipped directly into the sea. These autonomous submarines dive into the abyss, activating high-tech detection systems that scan vast suspected kill zones. They sweep the seabed using advanced magnetic signature detectors and environmental sonar data. Inside the combat information centers of the surface ships, the first anomalies begin to ping on the screens. An invisible, deadly battlefield starts to reveal itself. As these anomalies appear, the tactical picture comes into focus. The goal is to define and map the threat zone with surgical precision. The raw data from the UUVs is beamed back to the command center in real time. Here, acoustic analysts filter out the biological noise of the ocean, the rocks, the coral, the shipwrecks, isolating the terrifying geometric shapes of man-made explosives. High-risk zones are gradually outlined, forming a digital threat map of the seabed. The sheer, overwhelming scale of the minefield becomes horrifyingly clear. With the suspected zones defined, the detailed inspection phase begins. We move from looking at blips on a screen to looking the enemy in the eye. Sleek underwater drones equipped with high-resolution side-scan sonar and close-range optical cameras are steered directly toward the marked locations. Through the murky green water, targets are clearly identified. The cameras distinguish between harmless sunken debris and the deadly spiked exterior of actual naval mines. What was once a suspected threat is now a confirmed kill target. Coordinates are locked into the combat systems with absolute mathematical precision, eliminating any margin of error.
The search phase ends. The operation now moves into its most explosive stage, direct neutralization. From the American vessels, specialized expendable unmanned platforms are deployed. Think of them as underwater kamikaze drones. They swim autonomously toward the locked coordinates, carrying high explosive shaped charges. They approach the dormant mines with terrifying precision, physically attaching the charges to the target's casing. All of this is conducted remotely. The surface forces remain safely outside the blast radius. Inside the control center, the tactical officer confirms the neutralization order. The safety switches are flipped, and within seconds, the charges on the seabed are triggered simultaneously. Massive, towering columns of white water erupt from the surface of the Persian Gulf, rocketing hundreds of feet into the sky. The shockwaves reverberate through the hulls of the warships. This is not a single explosion. It is a continuous, synchronized chain reaction across predefined sectors of the strait. Sections of the minefield are systematically and violently erased. The Iranian blockade system is physically collapsing. But the ocean is a chaotic environment, and technology has its limits. In the highly complex, muddy seabed environments, or when dealing with older, rusted mines that produce weak acoustic signatures, the unmanned systems begin to fail. Blurred camera imagery and unstable sonar data make positive identification impossible. These remaining hidden targets become the most difficult and terrifying part of the entire operation. You cannot sail a billion-dollar aircraft carrier through a strait if you are only 99% sure it is clear. This phase demands extreme patience. No threat can be left behind. And when multi-million-dollar technology reaches its absolute limit, human courage becomes the decisive factor. Enter the U.S. Navy EOD, the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Divers. These elite frogmen are deployed into the black water, preparing to manually approach the final unverified targets. Under incredibly harsh conditions, with visibility reduced to mere inches, every single breath and every single muscle movement must be executed with absolute, flawless precision. Down there, in the crushing dark, there is no safe distance, there is no remote control. There is only skill, years of grueling experience, and total, uncompromising focus. This is the deadliest phase of the operation. Every decision carries the ultimate critical risk. On the seabed, the divers slowly approach the final confirmed targets. They're wearing specialized non-magnetic gear. Their rebreathers emit no bubbles, ensuring they do not trigger the acoustic or pressure sensors of the mines. In the near-zero visibility, they must visually and physically inspect the structure of the bomb. They are literally running their gloved hands over enough high explosives to vaporize a destroyer. With agonizing care, the divers manually place the neutralization charges onto the target's casing, wiring them for remote detonation. Even a minor error, a slip of the hand, a brush of a flipper against a trigger horn could instantly activate the threat. Once
Apache
the rigging
attack
is
helicopters
completed,
are deployed
the
at
team
scale
slowly
across
and
forward
carefully
operating
withdraws,
bases in
swimming
desert
back to
areas
the surface
surrounding
and
the
moving
Strait of
to a safe
Hormuz.
distance.
The visuals
Approach
highlight
phase
continuous
ends.
refueling,
Control shifts
maintenance,
entirely
and
back
combat
to the command
readiness,
center.
indicating
Final
a
telemetry
sustained
signals are
high-tempo
verified.
operational
The
environment.
divers are confirmed
With
safe.
precision strike
The exact
capability,
target coordinates
low
are
altitude
locked
maneuverability,
one last time.
and flexible
The
fire
command
control,
is given.
the Apache is
Execute.
optimized to
Within
neutralize
moments,
ground
the
targets
final
and
charges are
asymmetric
triggered
threats,
remotely.
particularly
Massive
effective in the
ocean
narrow and
surface
complex
tears
terrain of
open again
Hormuz.
as massive
The
water
concentration of
columns
these
blast
assets
the air.
signals a clear
The
strategy,
final hidden threats
establishing
are
low-altitude air
The
dominance to
neutralization
restrict
phase
adversary
is
movement
officially
and
complete.
operational freedom.
The invisible
As
noose
air
around the
dominance
Persian
begins to
Gulf
take
has
shape,
been cut.
the key question
With the
emerges.
final threat
Can
eliminated,
traditional
the
blockade
full might of the
strategies
United
still remain
States
viable?
moves into
Inside
the
the
air.
cockpit,
It is a
Apache crews
breathtaking
operate
display
in a
of
highly
naval
digitized
supremacy.
environment,
Carrier
integrating
strike groups,
sensors,
guided missile
navigation,
destroyers, and
and fire
logistical
control
ships
for
deployed in a
continuous
massive,
monitoring and
coordinated
rapid coordination.
formation, establishing
Flying
an
low enhances
undeniable
visual
physical
awareness,
presence across
enabling
the
quick
strategic
identification
maritime
of small,
corridor. The
mobile
Strait of
threats
Hormuz
such as fast
is no
boats or
longer
mobile
a danger
launchers.
zone. It
The
is
real
now
advantage
tightly
lies in
controlled
real-time battlefield
American
awareness,
passage.
allowing
Because
early
in this
detection
region,
and
controlling
disruption of any
Hormuz
blockade
is not
attempts.
just tactical
With every
victory,
movement monitored
it's
and rapidly
absolute
countered,
power.
the battle space in
What do
Hormuz
you
leaves
guys
little
think
room
about
for
this
surprise.
massive show of
Large
force?
formations
Has the
of
United States permanently
AH-64 Apache
neutralized the threat
helicopters
in the Persian
operate at
Gulf?
high
Or
density,
is Iran just
forming
preparing for their
continuous
next
aerial
asymmetrical
patrols over the
attack?
Strait of Hormuz.
Drop your thoughts in the comments
This scale
below.
of deployment
Make sure you
ensures
hit that
persistent
subscribe button
presence,
to stay updated
effectively
on the
covering
rapidly
all
shifting
critical
front
sectors of
lines
the
of
waterway.
global conflict.
Under
Stay
such
vigilant.
conditions,